Welcome back to the Exposure Stories. Over the top, no. At least that's what Ron Howard's parents used to say. They thought they were reasonable, thoughtful, grounded. But no one could have guessed that the little red-haired boy from Oklahoma would grow up to face Hollywood's darkest corners, betrayal, accidents, lawsuits, and heartbreak, and still come out smiling. In 1973, Harrison Ford and Paul Le Mat did something that still haunts Ron Howard to this day. They threw bottles at his car, locked him in a trailer, and mocked him for his past as a child star. They called it opie shamming. That moment broke him, but it also defined him. Because for 50 years, Ron stayed silent about the darker side of fame. Now, after a lifetime of directing hits and surviving chaos, he's finally telling the truth. His journey from a struggling kid to one of Hollywood's most respected filmmakers wasn't clean or easy. It was full of pain, risk, and redemption. Ron Howard was born on March 1, 1954 in a small town called Duncan, Oklahoma. His father Rance dreamed of acting. His mother Jean, too, was an actress. Money was tight, but dreams were big. In 1958, when Ron was just 4, the Howards packed their car, left Oklahoma behind, and headed west to Hollywood with almost nothing, chasing the faint promise of a better life. They rented a small home in Burbank, barely making ends meet, but they lived near a major studio. Every day, Ron would see cameras, film crews, and actors walking past. Instead of playgrounds, he grew up on sets, watching scenes unfold. Without even realizing it, he was being prepared for a life that would never be ordinary. At just 18 months old, he appeared in his first film, Frontier Woman, because his father needed a baby for a quick scene. No one could have guessed that the crawling toddler on that set was stepping into a destiny that would shape an entire era of television. By the late 1950s, the Howards were broke. They turned down big studio offers because they didn't want Ron tied to long-term child contracts. They pawned furniture, skipped rent, and nearly gave up on Hollywood. But in 1959, when Ron turned 5, everything changed. He landed a role in The Journey, earning his first screen credit, but not everyone was kind. Crew members mocked his freckles and red hair. His father nearly lost his job defending him. Then in 1960, Ron's life completely transformed when he was cast as Opie Taylor in The Andy Griffith Show. Out of over 300 kids, he stood out for his natural charm. The show debuted on October 3, 1960, and instantly became a hit. For 8 years, millions watched the wholesome small-town world of Mayberry and the boy at its heart. But behind the smiles, childhood was slipping away. Ron had to memorize pages of dialogue, show up early, and deliver perfect performances, episode after episode. Andy Griffith, the show's star, became more than a mentor. He was like family. They spent long hours together between takes, Andy teaching, joking, and guiding him. But Andy wasn't perfect. He drank heavily and had temper issues, and Ron saw sides of him that fans never imagined. One day during filming in 1962, 8-year-old Ron nearly drowned when a boat capsized on set. Andy jumped into the lake and saved his life. Producers covered up the accident, terrified of bad publicity. But Ron never forgot it. It shaped the kind of director he would one day become, obsessed with safety, discipline, and control. When The Andy Griffith Show ended in 1968, Ron was 14, a teenager trapped in a child's image. Casting directors refused to see him as anything but Opie. He faced 50 rejections in a single year. He thought about quitting acting altogether. By 1970, he was taking small TV parts and earning less money than ever before. But one thing kept him grounded: Cheryl Alley, a girl he met in high school. They started dating in 1970 and faced cruel rumors about pregnancy that nearly destroyed Ron's reputation. Yet, they stayed together through it all. In 1973, when George Lucas cast him in American Graffiti, things finally changed, but not in the way he expected. On set, Harrison Ford and Paul Le Mat mocked him mercilessly. They locked him in trailers, threw bottles near his car, and shouted, "Dance, Opie, dance." It was pure humiliation. Ron stayed quiet and finished the film, earning just $10,000 for what became one of the most profitable movies ever made. He asked George Lucas for 1% of the profits, worth over $1 million, but Lucas refused. The pain ran deep, but Howard didn't stop. In 1974, he joined Happy Days as Richie Cunningham, a role that made him a national icon again. At first, Happy Days was lighthearted fun, but by 1976, things turned ugly behind the scenes. Henry Winkler's Fonzie became the breakout star, and executives wanted to rename the show Fonzie's Happy Days. Ron was furious. He'd been the heart of the show since day one, and now he was being sidelined. He threatened to quit. When fans heard the news, they sent 10,000 letters to ABC demanding the show stay the same. The title never changed, but Ron's outlook did. He realized how fragile fame was. He started thinking like a filmmaker. Even with record-breaking ratings, jealousy grew within the cast. Actors fought over paychecks, scenes, and screen time. Some, like Anson Williams, accused producers of favoritism. The tension got so bad that by 1977, Howard had mentally checked out. When he finally left the show in 1980, he walked away from guaranteed millions because he wanted to direct full-time. His first big hit, Grand Theft Auto 1977, nearly ended in disaster when a stuntman was badly injured during filming. Howard quietly settled the lawsuit but never forgot the guilt. From then on, safety became his #1 rule on set. By the mid-1980s, Ron was directing one hit after another: Splash, Cocoon, Willow, Parenthood, but each came with chaos. Tom Hanks had tantrums on Splash. During Cocoon, a fired extra sent him death threats. On Backdraft, a fire stunt got out of control, injuring multiple crew members. OSHA even investigated. The accidents never stopped him, though. They taught him how to lead through crisis. Then came Apollo 13, a grueling production that pushed everyone to the edge. Hanks demanded perfection. The script was rewritten daily. The film almost collapsed under pressure, but Howard pulled it off, earning $355 million and Oscar glory. Success didn't protect him from danger. During Ransom in 1996, he started receiving terrifying letters threatening his children. The FBI got involved and his family had to relocate. No one was ever caught. By 2000, he was directing The Grinch and clashing with Jim Carrey, who famously snapped during filming and shoved him on set. Still, Howard delivered a massive box office hit. The next year, A Beautiful Mind won him the Academy Award for Best Director. But even that came with chaos: Russell Crowe's temper, production fights, and near shutdowns. Then came the Da Vinci Code in 2006, and a storm unlike any other. Religious groups across the world called it blasphemous. Protesters demanded bans. The Vatican denounced him. He received bomb threats and had to hire bodyguards. The backlash was intense, but the film made $760 million worldwide. He faced similar fury again with Angels and Demons in 2009, when the Vatican secretly blocked filming inside churches. He said it cost him $50 million, but it didn't stop him. In the 2010s, Howard faced lawsuits, tragedy, and loss. A stunt driver was seriously injured on Rush in 2013. Then his father and mentor, Rance Howard, passed away in 2017, just 36 hours after filming his final role. Rumors swirled about family disputes, but Ron and his brother Clint remained united, writing emotional tributes celebrating their father's legacy. Meanwhile, Ron's daughter Bryce Dallas Howard, now a major Hollywood star, faced Nepo baby criticism. She publicly acknowledged her privilege, earning praise for her honesty. Ron never denied helping her but said success still required talent and grit. In 2020, his film Hillbilly Elegy divided audiences and critics. The story of working-class struggle won over viewers but enraged reviewers. Years later, Howard admitted he was shocked when the film's author, J.D. Vance, entered politics and became Trump's running mate. Howard texted him congratulations and disappointment. Still, he kept working, releasing Eden in 2025, a dark thriller about jealousy and isolation inspired by true events in the 1930s Galapagos Islands. Reviews were mixed, but Howard didn't care. After decades in Hollywood, he'd learned that staying true to his craft mattered more than chasing applause. In 2025, Ron made headlines again, not for a movie but for his marriage. He and Cheryl celebrated 50 years together. Their first date was back in 1970, watching It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. Half a century later, they recreated it in the same old VW Bug they drove as teenagers. Through all the fame, scandals, and heartbreak, they had built something rare, a love story that survived Hollywood. After nearly 7 decades in the business, Ron Howard isn't just America's favorite director. He's a survivor. From the red-haired boy in Mayberry to the man behind Apollo 13 and A Beautiful Mind, his life has been one long test of integrity. Every insult, accident, lawsuit, and scandal could have broken him. But it didn't. He turned pain into purpose, and in doing so became one of Hollywood's last true storytellers.